Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Legacy Builder series. I am your host, Ace Randall. As always, it's a pleasure to come on with you to do this Legacy Builder series. Can you believe it, guys? We are at the end of season 1. We have been on for an exactly 3 months straight. 2 days a week on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we have had some phenomenal guests to be a part of this show. And thank you guys for making this show fulfilling, rewarding. I've gotten a lot of great feedback in regards to the impact that this show has had on people's lives and their destinies. And so, and that's the whole objective, is really to empower people to continue to build legacy. So let's go ahead and kind of get into our last and final inspirational thoughts for the Legacy Builder series for season 1. You know, you guys, I've been talking about it's time to amplify. And I was saying how it's really important for us to really put forth our effort to amplify what it is that we're trying to do and accomplish in the earth. And so sometimes that might mean to build new friendships and new relationships and get connected to new people that has a wealth of wisdom or knowledge that can be able to help you execute your vision and your plan. And so one of the things that I can say throughout doing this Legacy Builder series has built new friendships, new relationships that's really going to be very instrumental into helping me to execute what it is that I want to do in life and in purpose. And so I just want to encourage you in going through your process of amplifying, whether it's studying or reading or going back to school or getting a mentor or whatever that is going to require for you to amplify and what it is that you're trying to do in life. I also want you to consider building new relationships. Connect to people that's either like-minded and further advanced. The reason why I say like-minded is because you want people that understand some things where you're at, but then you also want to connect to people that's further advanced than where you are in life. People that are further advanced mean that they've been there and done that. So they can, kind of aid and help you in saying, you know what? Don't do it this way, do it this way, because I actually tried it that way and it didn't work. And so these are some essential tools that's required in the process of you amplifying. So that's my inspirational thought. Again, I really appreciate you guys coming on all of the different platforms that we're watching this show on. And next season is going to be amazing. So stay tuned for some amazing marketing and things is going to be coming out for season 2, and we'll discuss more about that later at the end of the show. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest of the hour. I have a phenomenal guest hailing in from Nigeria. Yes, we are international tonight. We are actually having an international guest that is actually up late, so we want to honor his time tonight. And so in that regard, because he's actually in Nigeria. So right now it is approximately 12 midnight there, 12:05, and so we do want to honor his time. But let's go ahead and dive into the show and introduce our guest of the hour. Stay tuned.
Legacy builder Uche Nnaji, CEO and creative director of Ouch Fashions, a men's fashion powerhouse of Nigeria. Ouch Fashions offers custom-tailored men's suits, a line of designer footwear, briefcases, bags and luggage, along with traditional Nigerian wear, casual apparel and much more. Stay tuned as we experience the journey of how Uche Nnaji built his legacy.
Good evening, my friend. Thank you for coming on to the Legacy Builder series all the way in Nigeria. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for keeping me awake.
Indeed. Well, you know, it's an honor to have you on. You are the king of fashion in Nigeria.
Wow.
You know, I follow your YouTubes and your Instagram, so I see some amazing things and some amazing product that you actually pushing out. So I had to have you on to share your story.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate. But there are many kings in Nigeria, and I'm just serving. That's all.
Absolutely. And so let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about you a little bit. We know that you're from Nigeria, but kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your upbringing, and then, you know, how you got into fashion particularly.
Since you said am I your first international guest?
Technically, but I do have a lot of international guests that I do connect with. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm going to start by letting you all know that Nigeria turned 60 this minute. Nigeria just turned 60, and I believe that it's appropriate for me to wish the country of my birth happy birthday. Nigeria is 60 today, October 1st, and it comes with a lot of mixed feelings and all of those. But that's not the question you asked. I just want to be patriotic for the country of my birth, the country that I've lived all my life and served in, and tried to contribute my little quota into, the growth of the country. So I wish Nigeria happy birthday. I wish you all the best. I pray you all the best. So that out of the way, we take the journey back to childhood. I mean, the whole fashion thing. I can't talk about fashion without having influence from my late dad, who was a sartorialist in his own regards back then. You know, the man knows with the whole British training and everything. He knows how to look the part. He knows how to put things together, put the look, and all appearing sartorially correct. So you can say that a little bit of that was found in the DNA. But the journey really started back in college, what you may call college, University of Lagos over here, and discovering that I had this unique, ability and skill with colors and putting pieces together. Fellow students were able to appreciate this and showed willingness, because back here is a bit different. They showed willingness to pay for that skill. Yes. So I started knotting ties for fellow undergraduates during dinners and all of those. I started making shirts. I started being fascinated with fabrics and trying to wear good shirts. As a student, I couldn't afford most of the British shirt brands that I would have loved to wear. So what we did was just I started studying fabrics as well, and studying fabrics not in the professional way, the way I did two falls ago in New York, not that way. But back then, we were talking about over 2 decades, just being on the streets of Lagos and a place called Aba. Every time a city again in Nigeria, you go pick fabrics and do what you have to do. So the journey started with that, and after the university, I continued. During my service year, we have a compulsory 1-year service in Nigeria. I continued and realized that I was passionate about this thing, and it was also rewarding rewarding in the sense that people started paying for this service. And hey, when it dawned on me that I've discovered my calling, I've discovered my path quite early. There was no need reinventing the wheel. There was no need trying to have another path. I just stuck to it, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Indeed. Nice. Absolutely. Now, what was the inspiration for you to actually, take what you learned from your father? Because you mentioned that your father was pretty much a dapper person and decided to make it an educational thing that you actually, because sometimes when, you're a child and you're around things so long, you decide to pull away from it versus add to it. So what made you decide to actually go to college for it?
No, I didn't go. I didn't go to college for it. My first
Okay.
degree was political science. I only started. It was when I got into it and I started making some headway in it that I started doing courses, doing little courses here in Dubai, doing a little bit in London, and eventually FIT. So it's more like self-taught from, as I said, political science 4 years. So that was my bachelor. That was my first degree. It wasn't fashion, and in Nigeria, unlike the US, it's there are a lot of things, especially when it has to do with creatives, that people delve into. It's an industry where people delve into without any form of formal knowledge, and this has a lot to do with economic realities here as well. Remember that I said that it was part of the things back in university that made me. Yeah, I was getting paid by fellow students. Remember,
Right.
so there was an economic benefit that was coming from serving fellow students. So I didn't go to any formal school for what I do up until recently going to the Fashion Institute of Technology.
Yes. In New York. Is that correct?
In New York, yeah.
Nice. Absolutely. And that's interesting how something built a demand and caused you to actually shift gears in your career to, being in fashion. That's amazing in that regard. So, and then how it built, momentum through some of the people that you were involved in, and you started to get involved with Dubai and all these other countries that you were doing things for, and that's amazing in that regard. And so tell us a little bit more about how those relationships started, because a lot of people hear the stories of, oh, he was doing work for Europe or doing work for Dubai, but how did that come about? Kind of tell us how that door or that connection actually came about. I think we got a little frozen there. Can you hear me? Dr. Uche, I think we frozen there. All right, we lost him a little bit. I think he's going to come out and come back in. I do apologize, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and give him a few moments. But his story is really amazing about how he is building his brand and doing some amazing things in Nigeria. And as you guys heard coming in, he was in a totally different career path and then decided to, become a creative and started making materials. And it opened up doors and connections for him to shift gears in his career to doing something else. And, that's amazing. Sometimes you think that what you're building, what you're creating, or what you're in school for might be the it all and be all, but that might not be it. It might be something else. It might be something else that you actually meant to do and to accomplish. We're still waiting for him to come back on, but I do apologize, you guys, for the disconnection for my guest. Is actually coming back in right now. And so we're going to go ahead and dive back in with my guest and talk more about how he got into the industry. Stay tuned. All right, my friend. Let's see, we got disconnected there. I do apologize for that.
Yeah, guys, I do apologize. I don't know what happened. I just I don't know what happened, but I do apologize. So, Ace, what was the question again about how I got into the industry? And I think I've explained that.
No, I was asking about how the connections to you doing work in other countries. You're doing work while you were in school, but then you started getting connections in Europe and in Dubai. How did that come about? A lot of people hear that part and see the glamorous part of that, but we don't actually hear the journey and how that came about. And if you can, tilt your camera up just a little bit higher because your face is kind of cut off.
Face, okay, it's better.
There you go. Yes.
Better. Okay. So I didn't start getting any form of training overseas while I was in school. I only started that when I got out of college and realized that I needed more knowledge, right? And travel didn't start for me up until I was done with college as well. So I need to put that in perspective for someone that is listening and watching as well, to not get it twisted by that's maybe a misconception. So I didn't start traveling, but I started connecting. For example, one of the travels that I did while in school was visiting Ralph Lauren stores all over Madison Fifth Avenue.
Wow.
Let's talk about how I did those, right? Magazines, magazines. I used to buy these magazines from the streets of Lagos in some bookshop area, and when I find Ralph Lauren stores, especially Madison Fifth Avenue, Fifth Ave and Madison, I'll cut them out and put in my dorm, in my what do you call it now? My locker. I just paste them on my locker in the dormitory, and I keep telling myself I want to do something like this someday. Yes. I want to be able to set up stores that would look this way. Something. So that was where my travel started. Nice. That was where my travel started. I can say that's where my travel started. Without moving, without leaving my geographical location, I was already.
Right. He was traveling in the mind.
Yeah, and pictures.
Indeed. But that is a good start, because sometimes you need to have images or something that is going to inspire you to go after, what it is that you're trying to do. And, nowadays we call them vision boards. We create vision boards and we put up what we want to do, goals, objectives, visions, and things of that sort. And you technically did it the same way. You just put it in your locker in school, or we would post them on our wall or what have you as posters, so that's good. And how that opened not only your mindset, but also begin to open up doors for you when the opportunity came. You find yourself in those type of environments, and that's great. So how did you end up in New York? I know that I do travel to Africa. I've been to East Africa quite a few times. I have connections in Nigeria, Ghana, as well, and which is actually next on the radar of consideration to travel to. And I know the difficulties and the complexities of getting out of the country at times, getting visas and all of that. How did that come about for you to make that happen, to find yourself at the Fashion Institute?
Again, my first experience with FIT was not physical. It was the internet. It was the internet, and after that, I'd been to New York. My first fashion show in New York was at the World of Astoria. Was at the World of Astoria in Manhattan, and that was fashion during the Fashion Week, February Winter Fashion Week. The second week of Valentine. That was 2009. 2009. So I've been to New York then, took part in that fashion show. And also that was my first time of visiting New York. So I took part in that fashion show, spent some time in New York, made friends, And one of those days, I'll just let me go check out this school that I've been, my interest has always been image consulting and all that. Apart from everything I'm doing in fashion, I just wanted to do something in image consulting. So I decided, I checked out FIT, went there, asked questions. As I said, put in my vision board and then planned to attend a couple of years to go do something, to try as much as possible to have something done there. And from 2011, I just started traveling, from mostly started going to Milan and Florence for fashion shows and all that. Something we call PT Umo in Florence, which is held biannually, and that is where they give the guideline, like the roadmap for men's fashion for the seasons. So I go to that a lot, and because I also manufacture, so I'll say a little bit about that for the person that is watching who is into manufacturing or who is trying to build a fashion brand. Before you ask me, are you there with me?
Yes.
So before you wonder, okay, so how did you start manufacturing overseas? I first started with Dubai. I started with Dubai, then trying to make ties in large quantity. I found some guys in Dubai online, and I traveled to Dubai, and the rest is history. Going to Dubai the next couple of years, maybe like 2 years after, I found myself in Istanbul, Turkey. And we continued from Turkey, started making suits, making shirts, and next in Italy, Spain, Portugal. And, the manufacturing continued there, I think up until 5 years ago. Now started exploring China as well. And so it's just been all in the journey of trying to build a truly authentic global brand. It may not be global in terms of brick and mortar. When I go to a place like Times Square, I just look at the buildings and just imagine an out store tucked in one corner, and just stuff there. But I mean, it's dreams, as they say. Your dreams are You're entitled to your dreams, and they do come true. You never know. Just hold on to those dreams. So it saw me traveling, and eventually in 2015, my wife was pregnant. Before my wife was pregnant, I've done one of my US trips as well. Again, I think I had a trunk show in Chicago,
my home city.
in ATL, and in where else? In Jersey. So
I lived at all three of those places. I'm from Chicago, moved from New York to Atlanta. Yes, I'm from Chicago. Moved from Chicago to New York, was there for 6 years, and now I'm in Atlanta. So interestingly enough.
Okay. So I went there and decided to start my program. I thought I was going to live in New York for that season. Mind you, Ouch was back home, the business. Leaving it was difficult, but I had an amazing team on ground. I had amazing people that could stand instead for the brand while I was away. So I did 3 months in New York. I realized that I'm unable to stay and do the other semesters. I had to switch. I had to switch from on campus to online for the next semester. So I came back in 2016 again to take classes, but this time around I didn't come alone. My wife was so we came, and and sorted that out there. Had a baby as well, and I took the classes for that semester, and I missed out 27. I missed out a season. Anyway, I missed out a season due to work and all. But eventually, I finished. And during that time, I would say that the benefits of going to school as well is that it opened me to discerning individuals, to styling presidents and bank chiefs. People that not necessarily they are celebrities, but they are professionals. Let me just use that word. They're professionals. So they want to dress appropriately, pristine, look the part, and not necessarily to their style personalities tends towards traditional classic with a bit of elegance. not like the movie star, the comedian, the you know what I mean, the musician that tends more towards dressing in a creative manner. So those are the people that started appreciating the knowledge I went to FIT to gather. Aside the fact that I still know how to romance fabric. I still know how to have intimacy with the garments. And when I'm picking fabric in Italy or I'm picking leather in Italy, the Italians or the Turks, they wonder, they ask, what school did you go for this? What school did you go to learn this? That you do it with so much ease. I jokingly tell them, I call local locations back in my country, those back streets like Harlem, the Bronx. Like I call those areas back here to them, and of course they don't know it, but those were the places. Those are the places where I was honing my skills. That when I find myself in cities in Europe, they just ask, where are you coming from? Are you based? Interestingly, most Europeans and Chinese think, aside the talks that started following me on social media and they know that I'm Nigerian, most of the Europeans and Chinese think that I'm American. They actually think I'm American. Most of them argue. They're like, "Oh, what's it in America? Are you?" For some of them, they say you. So some of them, when they get to know me that I'm from Africa, I'm Nigerian, they say you are different.
Wow.
By attitude, by the way, they say you're different attitude, and it takes me something about to just mention something about integrity to that person that is watching. We're not here. We're not having a moral class or session, but the benefits of integrity is invaluable. One of the things it did for me with doing international business is that it opened doors for me. People just believe you. When you said you are going to make payments, you make payments no matter what. You just make payments. You make sure they receive their payments. So you build trust. When they give you stuff based on trust, because the talks would tell me, oh, you can take this. You can owe us some money. When I asked some of the guys I used to make shirts with back then, why did you guys start doing? They say you're a famous man on Facebook. We know you're on Instagram. we know you're on Instagram, so you can't run away. If you run away, bring your picture to your immigration. It was interesting, but you build character, and that's it. Integrity. Yeah.
Yes. That's what I actually, interestingly enough, I've been saying this lately, that your gift will bring you to the door, but your integrity is what's going to keep you in, and that's really essential to building a brand. It's essential to doing any type of business or having any type of relationship, is having that integrity, and that's really important. Before I get to asking you some questions about your business, and I'm going to kind of limit it to about 10 more minutes, because I do know that you need to get some rest, because it is about 3 o'clock in the morning in Nigeria. But where do you draw inspiration from? When I look at your garments, and I of course, I do see a lot of the at-home influences, but meaning Nigeria or Africa and the continent in itself, because I see different influences in that regard, and I can tell the difference in certain fabrics because I've been, because of the cultures. But I do see some other, influences like European and things of that sort. But where do you draw influence, and how do you mesh them together to make the Ouch brand?
You've said it all. You can't rule out the impact that travel has on someone. Lately, I think that started just after the lockdown. Immediately after the lockdown, that was early May.
Yes.
I've been doing this for a while. Most of the influence, when it has to do with garment, for me, has been Italy and Hong Kong. Italy for the sartorial elegance. Now the jackets, the shoulders of the jacket, the cut, everything about the jacket, the pants, the turn-ups. I know I saw my dad wearing turn-ups growing up,
Mm.
and my uncles as well, and men around wore turn-ups. But I also got back into turn-ups 6 years ago. 6 years
Mm.
ago, just finding myself, of course, at the PT in Florence, and I noticed a lot of men with gray hair, older men, wearing turn-ups, and they looked amazing in it. I just loved it. I just loved it. And I brought it back to Nigeria, 6 years ago. There was nobody. That was inspiration. There was nobody wearing it. There was no
Right.
styling. There was no style influencer. Instagram 6 years ago was not. Today, everybody's a style influencer. So, and
Right.
I joke and tell them that if I think it was on a recent post, I said if Instagram is to pay me for every image save that people do, I would have bought house somewhere in Banana. It's like Park Avenue anyway. So I would have bought a house. There because coming back, started wearing turn-ups. I wore it for almost 2 years, and you know how it is. People are looking at you. They're like, okay, what is this? At a season where they're wearing without cuffs. But I started putting
Right.
2.5 inches cuffs on my pants 6 years
Mm.
ago. And as I said, this was influenced by travel to Florence, being
Right.
at the PTO mall. And as I said, after the lockdown, I brought in a particular kind of shirt, which I've been wearing as well for maybe about 5 years, and that has to do with my frequent travels to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a city I love, and there was something I used to see a lot of mostly the tech billionaires and all that, the millionaires rather, they wear, and just you see them at the mall, you see them doing dinners in the evening restaurant. And I made some over there back then, or maybe on each of my trip, I always make something, bring back home. And when I started getting demands, people asking, why are you the only one sporting this bath? Why are you the only one rocking this? After the lockdown, I decided to, bring it to life and tweak a few things here and there. Remember, it's about inspiration. Inspiration, for me, most times come with being able to alter things, to improve on them, not necessarily to reinvent wheels. So, we introduced the Kowloon shirt, and of course, I named it after a prominent city in Hong Kong, Kowloon.
Mm.
And so that is an inspiration. We have the briefcase called Abego, So discussing with the guys in Naples, to make that bag, what
Nice.
it reminded me of is the money bag. It's a timeless piece. A
Yes.
bag. Most people that get it, I tell them that this is one of the things you have to put in your wheel. You can't
Yes.
use it alone. It has to become transgenerational, right? And Abego means money bag in my dialect in Igbo.
Uh,
But when I tell the European guys that this is the name, this is what is inspiring, this is how I want it to look, let's make this adjustment here, let's make the edges quite sharp and all of that, is because I know what is inspiring that creation. Or you talk about Olivia, Moffat, all those creations that we're doing. It's just a fusion of travel, really. It's travel that influences all those different cultures and experiences, sights and sounds as well.
Wow, amazing! And I tell you, I love a lot of your pieces, and you already know I've been eyeing your alligator luggage set, and so I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. To be on the lookout, I'm gonna get it because I love it. Your creativity and what you do, and there's a lot of things that you do, that actually inspire me on some things as well. So, with that being said, tell us a little bit about your Ouch brand and how that came about, and then the different products that you create with that, so that those that are listening, they know how to possibly even purchase. As a matter of fact, for those of you all that are watching, his information is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. So go ahead and follow him on Instagrams, on his websites, and also check out his YouTube channel as well. He has a great level of information and product that is amazing. And so we want to blow him up here in America and other countries as well, because he has a phenomenal brand for men's fashion. It is amazing. At any rate, back to your Ouch brand. Tell us more about that, and also how you started it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So for the benefit of those that are just joining, the journey towards Ouch started back in university, college, and we're talking about a little over 2 decades ago. It wasn't Ouch back then. We're just having fun, just expressing oneself in a sartorial form. Ouch started 14 years ago, and let's talk about raising funds. So I'm coming from a very humble background. I and see myself through university, like paying my tuitions, see myself through university. Before some of you start wondering, how did you do it? I played the guitar. I played the guitar. Look at my hand. Look at my. I played the guitar and I sang back in the university. Like I was a Boyz II Men fan. So I did that. I sang.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I played. I used music to see myself through university.
Nice.
Yeah, so I missed classes where I've gone for gigs. We've gone for a session or something. You miss classes.
Indeed.
So one can survive. And so I was able to save money during this season of my life. I never knew where I was going to, but there was a few things my late dad used to tell us back then that resonated with me and stayed inside of me. Part of it was, I'll say in my local dialect, for an Igbo person that is watching with Igbo or origin, you understand, but I'm going to interpret it for the benefit of the whole world that's watching. My late father used to say, Ifoma adigi agwago. Ifoma adigi agwago. So what that literally means was that good things never finishes. Good things never finishes. So I started cultivating as a teenager, an undergrad. I started as a young adult. I started cultivating the habit of looking away from, things I can derive immediate gratification from. I started practicing delayed gratification and started saving. Maybe if I know today, I'll probably not make my kid to invest. I'll probably make my kid to invest back then. But I was saving, and saving as an undergrad, leaving university, and everything that happened in between that 3 years after university, being denied student visa to go to Westminster and study in international diplomacy. I was able to use the fund I had to rent, to lease a property, get a location, lease a property, a 12 square meter retail store, not even a property, because I'm paying property, and some folks might be wondering, "Ooh, property, where do you get the money from?" But it was right. It was a 12 square meter store, and the 12 square meter store. I need to mention the 12 square meter store is for someone as well listening to understand starting small. When you hear people talk about starting small, I am a living testimony about starting small. I'm a firm believer in starting small. We know these days, Ace, a lot of people just want to, in Nigeria, we call it blow. They just want to blow. They just want to hammer, Instagram, instant noodles, instant riches, instant marriage, instant everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's not like instant business.
This is true.
There's not like instant business. So if you don't have the funds, if you don't have the deep pockets, be like me, start small, have big dreams, amazing dreams, but don't be afraid to start small. So I started small at that 12 square meter store. I had an amazing friend. He's still my amazing friend and brother, Omena Daniels. He's in Houston. He's been in Houston for a while. We miss him in Nigeria. Omena, if you get to watch this, we need you to come. We need you to come back to Nigeria and come make Nigeria better. We need you. Don't let America take your brain. So, Omena was there from day one. He helped with the branding of the brand. He's a writer. He's a lawyer. He's a brand expert. So childhood friends. He helped with the branding of the company and the Ouch logo designing and all of those. And everybody was just looking at me like, what is this guy is doing? Everybody comes out for university. Everyone is going to the UK for masters, going to the US for masters. And you say you want to follow through fashion. You want to do fashion. Family didn't find it funny as well because they realized, they knew that I'd been able to save. So I've been disciplined enough to save money to pay for tuition for 1 year masters in the UK. But the visa didn't come through. I mean, what do I do? So the money came back, and the rest is history. I was disciplined enough not to use the money to buy a car back then, because with the kind of things we see these days in my client is that it's easier to just buy a car. You're being celebrated. You're a newbie, you're a new kid on the block, and everyone, the soft sales are writing about you. There were no Instagrams, no Periscope, all of those were not there then. So the soft sales were already writing about this young kid, this new boy on the block in the backside of town that just had this impeccable touch to the things he does. And patronage came. Words went about town. Patronage came. We kept on. One of the things that was driving me, which is also a legacy that inside of me, I am happy, if for nothing, for Africa, that I've been able to give birth to sons and grandsons in the fashion industry. You look at a couple of the big names in my generation now. They used to come to that 12 square meter store back then, 15 years ago. They used to come to that 12 square meter store. I'm talking about people that are big now, that are even bigger than me, social media wise. Their names are known, and for some of them, they have more moolah than I do.
Right.
But I'm happy because the majority of them drew inspiration from what I started. And that is why I keep pushing the boundaries, traveling to the ends of the earth, places that are not convenient for me, places that language is supposed to be a barrier, but I just go because I've seen myself as a trailblazer. I've seen myself as a torch bearer, a gatekeeper, someone that has gone ahead, someone that is letting others know that it is possible. I live in a country. I live in a country where it's as if everything works against you, for your dreams not to see the light of day. But then, when you realize that you've had some divine favor you can't explain, some form of, we call it oil, on top of your head, and you do some things that people say is not possible, you do it and it goes through. And when I say you do it, I'm talking about you put in the work, and reward comes, success happens. I don't take those things for granted, so I keep pushing so that the young man, the young woman that wants to do fashion, that is in the creative, wants to build a business, when they hear the Ouch story, they are inspired.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's it's been an interesting journey, but it was also difficult. It was also difficult the first 3 or 4 years having Nigerians to pay premium for a Nigerian brand. It was difficult. It was very difficult because remember, I started making suits in Turkey and Italy 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I started going to this, and you come back with the stuff, amazing cuts. The suits were nicely cut, the jackets were nicely cut, the shirts were well made, but the Nigerian middle class, which constitutes the larger part of our demography for our market, they'll rather tell you, okay, when I go to the UK, when I travel, if you're going to sell this for me at this rate, I might as well wait until I travel. They didn't understand that, okay, you are exclusive in the sense, the numbers, the SKU, that you make. So little brand like ours starting out, you see you making a fabric, you make the fabric and you make just below 20 pairs of suits in a color. And the guys overseas keep asking you, they know you're building a private label, but this looks like a joke to them. How can you be making 20 pairs of a color when the big brands will come and one color they ask for 500 or 1,000? So
Right.
when you bring those things back home, you're trying to explain to them, to this man, that what you're also selling is exclusivity. Most of
Indeed.
them, most of them didn't understand it. So those are part of the challenges I had to deal with. Acceptance, acceptance.
Right.
They were happy that a Nigerian young lad, not from a notable family, not from a wealthy family. So when you hear his story, oh, there was a lot of them were buying then. Apart from the fact that they saw quality, you also had buying that was inspired by sentiment back then.
Indeed.
Let's make this work. The journey kept on going. We kept on expanding, kept on new frontiers, and went into shoes. About 8 years ago, went into shoes and started making those as well. Those were embraced with open arms. The men just
Yes, they're very nice.
Yeah, the men just embraced that. The luggages, we started the luggages 3 years ago, and it's also been phenomenal with the phenomenal Olivia. Olivia became a sensation. Olivia is still there. Olivia is timeless. Olivia is a classic. You
Yes.
find it on the website if you go there, and it's just been an interesting journey, layers upon layers unfolding as the day goes by.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I do want to honor what I said about your time. So I'm just going to ask my last two questions before you go.
Okay.
What is on the horizon for you? What is some new things that you have coming out that we can be looking out for? Do you have a new brand or something additional with the brand that you have? Or maybe just a whole new business venture altogether that you're going to be working on?
Okay. The things that I expect more people to look out for more is our made to measure. That's what you call custom in the US. Our
Yes.
made to measure. We're taking it seriously here now. We're doing. We shipped to Dallas today. We shipped to Atlanta today. Yeah, we shipped to Dallas and Atlanta today. Those shirts. I mean, we shipped this to Ohio last week. So
Wow.
these are some of the things that we're seriously working on now. The made to measure, so people pick the unique fabric. And interestingly, we are not all that automated yet, although we're working on it assiduously, but we are not completely automated. So people still try to actually to send fabric swatches via electronic means. And instead of waiting for the perfect time, what that can do is your enemy, steals time. So
Indeed.
most of the people I never met, I don't know, they connect to me via WhatsApp, connect with my staff, we send them swatches, we deal with measurements online and do their stuff. So that is an area I wish to explore very well. That's what's in the horizon actually. We also introduced a shoe line called Edward Smith. Edward Smith is to explore, to create an inroad into a new market of those that are maybe a little bit closer to the lower pyramid, triangle
Mhm.
pyramid, and all of those. So you don't just exclude that market completely. And Edward Smith is picking up slowly. The reason why that is happening as well is because the ouch man, the ouch woman, the ouchaholic, the ouch customer is already used to our premium. So
Indeed.
I know in the US, at times people don't care. People just look for deals. That's why Black Friday is a hit. People just look for
Right.
deals. But here, when we have our average shoes average between 170 to $200. So when you now have a shoe you put out for 75, $80, it's not getting the kind of heat, the way the more expensive ones are getting. And
Right.
I understand that because more of the alcoholic are people that want to equate. They do understand. You can't compare a shoe, a product of when it has to do with garments and leather. a product of
Right.
$70 with that of $500 or $210 or $170. You can, because it's just what it is. Just the way you can't compare a Maybach and an ML, you know. It's just,
Right.
it's just what it is. So those are the things that we're working on, and of course we're trying to consolidate more on online presence and take digital marketing a bit more seriously. That will see us shutting down more of our brick and mortars. I have no apologies with that. It's just where the world is going to. As I say that, it's interesting how I'm going to say this here, and it's going to be shocking. How my personal Instagram, since after the lockdown, since May, my personal Instagram makes more sales and generate new customers than the stores.
Wow. Wow.
The store at the airports, the store, the prime locations. So my personal Instagram, just being on the phone, seeing DMs, the DMs. I love you guys that send DMs. Keep sending the DM, keep sending DM, and keep wiring and doing your Western Union and keep swiping.
And that's why it's important to have social media. A lot of people don't think that, and this day is important because that will take your brand to a whole nother level. Having proper marketing and having a good social media presence, definitely.
If it wasn't for social media, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We wouldn't be here.
Indeed, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. And then my last final question that I have for you is, when is your time to take your leave from this planet? What's the legacy that you want to leave behind? What do you want the world to remember you by when it's time for you to leave here?
Wow. So many things. I want to be remembered for so many things. But one of the things that will be important for me, especially in Africa, in Nigeria and in Africa, will be, there was a man that came and showed order, that held the torch. He sat on the tractor and tilled a path. He pushed back all the obstacles. He used the torchlight to shed and show that there is a way on this path for other people to come and exploit. That's what I want to be remembered by.
Wow, indeed. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know you have to get some rest, and we're cutting the show on your segment a little bit short, but thank you so much. I believe that doors for you internationally is going to continue to open for you. I don't have any doubt that I'm going to see you here in America with brick and mortar stores, or even pop-up shops, or people that just partner with you to actually sell your product here without you actually having to be physically here. And I believe the connections and the doors is going to open up for you. Yeah. You have quality product. That is one thing that I can say about your brand. It is high end and it's quality. And I can understand why people that associate with your brand, seeing the quality that now you're doing a cheaper version of the brand, I can understand why it's probably not doing as much. But that also takes some finagling and takes some marketing and maybe separating the brands. But there's some things you can do with that in that regard. But I really applaud you on what you're doing. Continue to build and continue to grow and continue to expand. And I tell you, everything, all those pictures that you put on your locker, I have no doubt you're going to accomplish, if you haven't already accomplished it already. Indeed. So get some rest, and thank you again for coming on. I'll be inboxing you, talking to you more, okay?
Thank you for having me. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. Thank you, America. Thank you, Nigeria. Thank you, the world. And please join me and wish my country, Nigeria, a happy 60th birthday today.
Indeed. Happy birthday, Nigeria, and all the Nigerians and every tribe and every culture there. I can't wait to step foot on the land. I will be there soon. So, and then when I do come, I do look forward to meeting you when I come as well.
It will be a pleasure. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You have a good night.
And you too.
thank you guys for staying tuned. We're not done quite yet. I guess it is literally past midnight there. It's actually about to be 1 o'clock in the morning there in Nigeria. And so I wanted him to go ahead and have his rest because, it is late there. And so want to thank him for coming on as well, and being a part of the Legacy Builder series. You guys, you know that we have been going strong since July, and July was our first show, and we came on with the Serranos that came on, and it really built momentum from day one. Day one show was phenomenal. We have had some phenomenal guests that have come on and shared. And so I just want to kind of share a little bit and give my appreciation to those that have come and been a part of the show. So with that being said, this is not going to be in any particular order. I do want to give thank you to Emil Stanton for coming on to the Legacy Builder series on July 27th. Thank you again, sir, for coming on. I want to also thank Mayor Rubin and Dr. Sandra Bermudez. They are a wonderful couple, wonderful couple. They are, I told them, I said, we're family now. So I want to kind of thank you all for coming on to the Legacy Builder series in August. I also want to thank actor Victor Love, my celebrity guest that came on. Thank you so very much, Victor, for coming on. We both share our birthday on August 4th. So for him to come on August 5th, it was definitely an amazing birthday gift for him coming on to the Legacy Builder series with us. Also, I want to thank, let's see here. I also want to thank, let's see. All right, seems like my other guests are not showing up on the screen, so I do apologize. But I'm just going to kind of go through them a little bit real quick. I want to thank Doctors Nefertina and Richard Serrano. I also want to thank Pastor Andrea Williams, Pastor Daryl Harris, Prophet Jay, Titus Glenn, Prophetess Danielle Clark for coming on as well. I also want to thank Dr. Wilson McQuarrie. I call her doctor, but even though she doesn't say doctor next to her name, but Madam CEO Tyr Wilson McQuarrie, thank you so much, Bishop, for coming on and sharing your story. I also want to give thanks to Dwayne, Prophet Dwayne Britt as well for coming on to the show. I'm also pulling up some of my previous flyers, you guys, so bear with me while I do that. But I also want to thank Tony Nicole for being on with us as well when we actually had our roundtable talk discussion. I want to thank her as well for being on. You all made the show amazing, and then it actually had me with a tearing up moment on the show. Now, I have not cried at all on this show, but that was definitely a moment in time that caused me to tear up. I also want to thank Bishop Kendrick Scales, which is actually one of my coverings and also one of my former spiritual fathers as well. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Cicely Victoria for coming on as well. Sean Hibbler, my brother, my ace, one of my best friends. Thank you as well for coming on. I also want to thank filmmaker, my cousin, Melissa Randall for coming on as well. I also want to thank Robert Grant, actor and he's an actor, a singer, as well as a playwright. Thank you as well for coming on. Gary Bailey and your executive team through Integrity Asset Management, which consists of Jerry, Kamisha, and Tamika. Thank you all for coming on the show. I also want to thank Nico Gray. You are doing some amazing things in the world, and you really inspired me through coming on the show. Thank you so very much for coming on the Legacy Builder series as well. I also want to thank Mark Coley. He was one of my recent guests that came onto the show. You also empowered me and enlightened me on some things as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the show as well. I think I might have missed a few people, but I just wanted to give these shout outs but first and last but not least, and always, I want to thank you all for watching. If you all didn't watch, again, I wouldn't have a reason to come on. And I thank you guys, all of you all that are on all of the 5 Facebook pages, on Periscope, and on the YouTube channel. Thank you all so very much for making season 1 such an amazing season. And with that being said, I also want to inform you guys that Legacy Builder series is getting ready to go to a whole nother level, a whole nother platform in that regard. And so we're looking for those that will partner with us and help us take our show to a global platform. Have some things that's on the pipeline I can't tell you about just yet, but just be on the lookout, because there is going to be some amazing things that is going to be released soon towards the end of this year in regards to Legacy Builder series. So we're looking for those to partner with us to help us take our message to another level. If you're interested in being a LBS partner, Legacy Builder series partner, definitely see the information, and you can use that Cash App link there on the bottom. If you do not have Cash App, no worries. We do have other means, so you can inbox us or send us a message directly, and we will get you the appropriate information that you need to be able to be a Patreon or partner with us. With that being said, there's going to be some things coming down the pipeline for partners, specifically only for partners, that is going to give you greater access to some things, some behind the scene things, some after show things. I can't get all into the details, but some great things is going to be coming up that you want to be a part of, being involved with being a partner with the Legacy Builder series. And again, every cent and dime going into it is going to help us take the show global. Also, if you do not necessarily want to be a partner, but you want to advertise with us, we have availability space for 30 to 60 second slots, commercial slots on the show. And you can advertise your commercial with us. And so if you have a 30 or 60 second commercial that is a family friendly commercial, that you want to advertise your product, your service, your ministry, or whatever, you can email us directly on that email address as you see on the screen. Take a screenshot. And if you know anybody that has a product or service and they're just trying to increase their reach, definitely inform them of this advertisement and let them know that we do offer ad space available. Also, if you do not have a commercial ready and you need one created, but you want to take advantage of the advertising with us, we through Fourg Virtual Effects Studios, which is my company, we can actually assist you on creating your 30 to 60 second commercial in that regard. Again, you guys, thank you so very much. Again, I do apologize that we had to cut it short with my guest tonight, because he is in Nigeria and he is stayed up very late after, designing and being in his fashion house for the entire day. He came on tonight to be with us and shared, and he helped make the finale show amazing. And I hope that his story inspires you. His story is so unique that he has come from some impoverished ways, but come from not having everything to your grasp and come from money or wealth, but he used his example of his father utilizing what he had and decided to build a brand and decided to use that as his momentum or his focus to build what it is that he's trying to build. And so that's really inspiring in that regard. And so again, be on the lookout. Legacy Builder series is going to get bigger and better. as the time go on. And so also we're going to be playing, throughout time, you're going to see little pop-ups of watch parties, of reruns and things of that sort. So just be on the lookout for that. But we are going to be taking a 3-month hiatus. Yes, 3 months, because we've been on for 3 months. We're going to take a 3-month hiatus, and we're going to come back in January. I believe it's January 5th or 6th is the second week of January, which is going to be the first Monday in January. It might be the 4th. I'm sorry. It's either 4th, 5th, or 6th, one of those dates. And we're going to be coming back in January, and you're going to see Legacy Builder Series amplified, because we've been talking about amplifying. Well, you're going to see Legacy Builder Series amplify, and we're going to take it to the next level. Also, thank you all for those that have been sharing your feedback and sharing your wisdom and telling me about how it's been impacting your life, and how the form of excellence that you see that the series has been doing, even though we're not on a television network. We want to give that appearance like, we're at a particular level. And I thank every last one of you all that have shared input and shared love and posted comments and shared on your Facebook pages and allowed this to be shared on your groups and your platforms. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And continue to help me push the Legacy Builder series, because my objective through this is really to empower and to enlighten people to build and create legacy. This is really, really important to our life. This is something that is mandated in multiple cultures, is to build and create legacy. You have to leave an inheritance for your children's children. Not only leave an inheritance for your children's children, but you have to build something that has not only life sustainability, but will live on after you have gone. That's why I asked the question to my guests at the end of the show. What is it that you want to be remembered by when it's your time to leave this earth? And so I'm going to answer that question as we end season 1. I'm going to answer that question myself. A lot of people have been saying that they pull from the message that what is his name? It's a pillar in the kingdom of God that he says that he wants to leave emptied out. And a lot of people, I've heard that multiple times. And that's also, I do aspire in that as well. But I want to leave something that will last the test of time. I want to leave something on the earth that inspires people to know that they can do it too. They can do it through fear. They can do it through anxiety. They can do it through trepidation. They can do it, broke. They can do it, rich. They can do it, when they want to give up and when they want to throw in a towel. They can do it when it failed 10 times or 50 times. They can still do it. And that's one of the things that I want to encourage, enlighten people, that you can build and create legacy. Leave it, build it, start it, make it happen. And that's what I want to empower people to empower people to go after their goals and destinies, to accomplish their dreams. That it is available to you. Don't allow nobody to get into your ear to make you say that you can't do it, that make you think that you don't have the ability to accomplish, to think that you're too old, or that you're not smart enough, or you're not inquisitive enough, or that that you're a black sheep, or you're whatever. You can do whatever you put your mind to do. You can do whatever you put your mind to do. I was watching a childhood movie, and in the movie, this person caused this creation that they made to fly. And then you would think it didn't have the ability to fly, but they kept saying, you can do anything if you believe. If you believe, and I want you to believe in yourself. Believe in your creativity. Believe in your gifts and talents. Believe in your dreams. Believe in your talents. Believe in your goals and whatever that you want to do. Believe in yourself, that you are beautiful, that you are wonderful, that you have knowledge, that you're not dumb, that you are empowered to do whatever you put your mind to do. All you got to do is start. All you got to do is put your hands to it. All you got to do is research. We just saw someone that came on the show tonight that talked about how he took pictures of being on Fifth Avenue in New York of different stores, and he put them up on his wall, on the wall of his locker. And that inspired him to the point that now he has accessibility, that he's creating brands in Milan and in Dubai and in Europe and in Asia, and he is doing it. And he is in Nigeria. Interestingly enough, people say, "Oh, he's in Nigeria." Yes, he has a high-end brand in Nigeria, doing very well. And why can't you do it? Why can't you do it? You have the ability to do anything that you put your mind to. And so that's the legacy that I want to leave behind, is to inspire others to be your best you, to be the greatest you want to be, and to build and create legacy. Let's go after it. Let's do it. Come on. And then also, too, what I want you to do as well, if in the 3 months, and I hope those of you all that have been listening and watching this show for 3 months since July, I hope in the 3 months that you have been consistently watching the show that you've been inspired. So if you haven't been inspired, please put it on our message board, put it on our videos. Let me know that you have been inspired, that you have been empowered. If you know me personally, I don't mind you sending me a text or inbox message. Send it to me. Send it to me on any of these platforms. Put it on the message board, put it in the inbox, and let me know that you have been inspired in any way by the Legacy Builder series, because this is just something, I believe that this is what I'm meant to do in this part of my journey. And this wasn't something that I thought to do, but I do see the purpose behind it. And some other people have been inspired, enlightened. Even people that have been my guests on this show has been empowered and enlightened to do some things, even though they were the guest. Isn't that interesting? So thank you guys for watching. And thank you for guys making the Legacy Builder series what it is. It's only up from here. It's only greater from here. It's only bigger from here. So let's go ahead and continue to build legacy. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for viewing the Legacy Builders series. Tune in July through August, Mondays and/or Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with special guest panelists to appear. Want to be a guest or a sponsor? Send your request via email to legacybuilderstv@gmail.com. Till next time, go forth and build legacy.